today.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Nancy. Such a great grounding for what we're going to hear about today. So, our first speaker of today is a Dr. Naike Moshi. I'm so excited to hear her speak. She's going to be talking about leadership development, specifically personal branding. I think we all know in this day and age of the internet, personal branding is everything. Dr. Naike Moshi is a renowned speaker known for her expertise in diversity and inclusion in the workplace. With dynamic presentations and real-world insights, she empowers audiences to create inclusive organizations where everyone can succeed. Naike is a trailblazer in this field, driving positive change and fostering equity within organizations. I know definitely that's something that's so necessary, particularly in the West. But even more so, something we don't think about is in corporate Africa, there is a huge need for diversity and inclusion work. It just looks a little bit different compared to what it looks like in the West. So, Dr. Naike Moshi, if you are ready, I am ready for you. I'm ready to be blessed and to hear what you have to say this afternoon. Over to you.
Thank you. It's really a great honor to be here. I'm so excited, and power to you, Nancy, for doing all this conference, connecting us all together all over the world. This is amazing. Keep up the good job. Just a brief about me, Dr. Naike Moshi. I'm the founder and CEO for CV People Tanzania, which is a HR consulting firm whereby we do recruitment training, team building, and HR solutions. But also, I'm the founder for Women in Management Africa, which is an initiative to improve gender balance in boards and in leadership roles. For the past 5 years, we have been able to spotlight female leaders in Tanzania and across Africa, even diaspora. 225 women leaders. We want to see more women at the decision making table. We believe that when a woman is there at the table making decisions, many women, first of all, are going to attend those leadership roles, but also at the same time, we believe they're going to be economically empowered. So it's really a great honor to be here today and to speak about personal branding and visibility. Actually, it's one of my favorite subjects, but I didn't start here. I would like to share my story. Back in 2021, just after COVID, the world was going through crisis. Most of the business were going down. A lot of things were happening. It was actually very chaotic. In 2021, 2 years down the road, one of my career aspirations was to attain a board seat. So I remember I approached my mentor and I asked him, how can I position myself to for a board seat? And my mentor told me, Naike, you need to work on your personal brand. And I was like, what? What is a personal brand? This was 2021. And he says, this is very important. People want to know who you are. You are busy building brands. People knew about CV people, they knew about WIMA, but they didn't know who is behind those business brands, which was me. And he asked me, have you tried to Google yourself? And I was like, yeah, I think I have, my name appears. And he said, no, it's more than that. We want to connect with you. So at that point, I wasn't sure how to go about it in terms of building a personal brand. I remember asking him, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to build a personal brand? And he told me, just you learn, there's so many platforms. There's YouTube, can go and learn to some of the speakers, listen to some podcast. And I did that. But unfortunately, I still could not grasp the concept. Like I wasn't sure what I needed to do. So finally, I saw a personal branding course. Actually, it was offered in Nigeria by Dr. Glory for women leaders. It was a 4 month training course on personal branding. So I attended that and I was in a shock. I believe personal branding is a self-discovery process. Personal branding is what people they say about you when you're not in the room. It's about managing and influencing others on the how they perceive you. So, how I believe everyone here has a brand. You know, you have a brand. You, whether you like it or not, people, they know you. They know you're a brand. So, but how do we go about it in terms of building one? And I think that's what many people are always asking. Number one step, you have to start doing some SWOT analysis. You have to do some self introspection. Just go deep inside, do some self assessment, ask yourself questions. What are your strengths? What are your capabilities? What are your talents? What are you good at? What is it that you want to bring to the table? What do you want to be known for? Also, even ask feedback from your peers, your friends. What are the things that people ask you a lot on things? What are the areas that you have weakness on, you're not good at? So once you have been able to ask yourself those questions, down inside, you're going to start to understand who you are. What is it that you bring to the table? What is it that you are good at? And you have already defined what is it that you want to be known for. Once you have done some SWOT analysis, I believe the next step is to finding your voice. I think even Nancy mentioned here today, everyone here has a voice. We have to use the voice that we have as leaders to make a change. Now, with your personal brand, you have defined your expertise, the things that you want to communicate to the audience, the things that you want to share to the world. Use your story. I believe everyone right here has a story to tell. We have come to a journey whereby we have passed through many challenges, many hardships, many successes. In one way or another, we have a story to tell. So don't believe that you have nothing to share, you have no knowledge to share. Your story is the same as other people. Just go down deep inside of you and find out what makes you you. What is so unique about you that is different from the other person? We have learned about building an online presence. Online presence is something that has changed over the past 10 years. Everything has become digital now. Imagine we have so many people who are speakers, who are audience from all over parts of the world, but we're able to connect through this platform. So social media has made it very easy for us. You no longer have to pay lots of money to go and market yourself in a newspaper or TV ads. You can use the social media platforms, which are usually free of charge to use, to showcase, to use your voice, to share your expertise. Find the social media channel that is right for you, whether it's YouTube, whether it's LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, podcast, whatever it is that you want to showcase. But also, I wanted to add something else when it comes to finding your voice. You have to communicate a message that is relatable to your audience, that is natural to you, that is authentic to you. When it comes to building a personal brand, you cannot just copy and mimic other people. It has to be natural and authentic to yourself. Your audience will connect with you when they feel that the content or whatever that you're sharing is relatable. They're connecting, they're engaging with you. Share your journey. Like I said, I'm 40 years old. Just to reach this stage, I've been through a lot. Just look back at your story from when we were born until now. What are the successes? What are the challenges? What are the failures that you can communicate or you can share to the world? You know, the audience like to appreciate leaders who are vulnerable. Most of the times I see corporate leaders were not able to be vulnerable. We're not able to share our failures. I remember there's one time during COVID, I had to start over in my business from scratch again. That was 2019. And it was so hard to write that post. But little did I know that post came to be one of the most viral posts because everybody related, because at that time, everybody was going through the same scenario that I was going through. So, whatever it is that has happened into your life journey, just go back and look at your life and see what is it that is so special. What is it that, whether it could also be failure, it could be pain, it could be anything, it could be success. There's something that is special for everyone, and I think it's important for us to look within ourselves. What is it that you're holding in your hand that is so special, that makes you unique? Go deep inside of you and find that out. And also document your journey. Most of the times we have so many things that we need to share. We can share our behind the scenes, our how to process, just document that process. How did you do it? How did you learn that thing? How did you overcome that particular challenge? How did you able to succeed in that particular field? So that knowledge that you share with people, that's when people are going to be able to connect to you, and that's how you can be able to build your personal brand. The last thing is about experimentation and learning. I remember when I was in my early stages of building my personal brand. You remember I told you that at that point my career aspiration was to get a board seat. So I asked myself, how can I position myself for a board seat? So I started writing articles on governance, boards and everything. But I was not able to do it for long because that was not my area. Sometimes, in order to find that niche of yours, that special thing that you are good at, you have to experiment. You have to try different things in order to get where you want to be. And also, as human beings, we grow, we outlearn experiences. Right now, attending a board seat is not my priority. So it means that I have to rebrand my profile again in the next 2 years. So ask yourself, where do you want to be in the next 2 years? So your brand can also evolve, as you grow. And that means it has to change as well when it comes to rebranding. So, just in closing, personal branding is very powerful. It's not a nice to have, but rather a must to have as a leader right now. If you're not going to have a personal brand, you're just going to be a commodity in the market. You have to stand out and bring that competitive edge. And also, just to share this quote, power and opportunities comes to those people who are known for what they do and for who they are. Let me repeat that. Power and opportunities come to those people who are known for what they do and for who they are. That's what personal branding is all about. And always remember, when it comes to building a brand, consistency is key. You have to be consistent in building your personal brand. Whether you have said you're going to post once a week, once a month, you just have to consistently continue to do so, because that way your followers can be able to engage with you. And also, the last thing when it comes to personal brand, it's not about who you know. It's not about who you know, but also who knows you. Because when it comes to building a personal brand, when people start to get to know you, when you become visible for opportunities, that's when people are going to recommend you. People are going to mention your name in those decision making tables. And I've seen many times women, we usually shy away to become visible. We don't speak up in meetings. We don't want to showcase ourselves. We think that our work will speak for itself. It won't. You have to speak it for yourself. You have to own your brand. You have to be visible and make yourself out there so that people can be able to see that gift, that talent that you have. Thank you so much. I welcome questions.
Wow, that was incredible. Thank you so much, Dr. Nike. Just amazing what you have said there. I really like that last quote. Opportunities comes to those who are known for who they are and what they do. It's so interesting that, we're both in East Africa, so a lot of the things you were talking about are challenges I can definitely relate to, in terms of, you want to say that, your work will speak for itself, your work will open doors for you, but the reality is so far removed from that. So, Dr. Nike, I had a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's been the most challenging experience you've had as a woman leader, especially in this season that you've been creating your personal brand? And with those challenges, what solution or what advice can we give to our audience today?
I think as a female leader, I think coming from African, societies, most of the times we believe that a woman is not supposed to lead. Those biases, that's one of them. And also just I think impossible thing that has been challenging for me. So I'm always like second guessing myself, always thinking maybe I'm not good enough or maybe I need to do something different. And I think this is what a lot of women leaders experience. And I want to tell you that voice that comes into your head that you're not good enough or you don't have what it takes to have that seat at the table is just a lie. And in terms of the advice, I would say women are so powerful. The gift that you have, it takes a lot of sacrifice for us women to make a change. And we are so capable of doing many things. And as Nancy mentioned, change starts with you. And I believe that should be the case for everyone. We should not wait for people to make a change. We should be the change ourselves. Whatever that you have always wanted to do, always do it. Find mentors. Like I said, I shared my journey. I would not be here today if I didn't know about personal branding without my mentor because he took me from the darkness. I didn't even know what personal branding is. But find a mentor, somebody who can be able to support you in your leadership journey because it's lonely at the top and it's also stressful. So if you don't have that tribe of people who can support you, people who you can collaborate with, you're not going to be able to make it to the top.
I I really like that response, Nancy. Sorry, Dr. Nike, I'm so sorry. I really, really like that, especially when you said it's lonely at the top, and it's true. It really is, and we have to be so intentional in seeking out a tribe of people who are supportive, but also will always tell us the truth. On that journey to the top, the last thing that we want is the last thing that we want is just yes men around us who are telling us things that we don't necessarily want to hear. One more question for you, Dr. Nike. We've talked a lot about finding community, finding tribe, finding mentors. How did you go about finding yours?
I think that's how my WIMA platform was born. First of all, I saw gaps of women applying for positions, being in the HR consultancy. But I was able to build my own community that way. I started recruiting for women leaders to recognize them for their achievements. Now I am no longer by myself. Now I have a community. And I think also based on this topic of personal branding, once you start building your personal branding, you're going to create followers, you're going to build your own community, people of your like. So,
Mm,
like I said, the journey at the top is very challenging. But when you have a community in place, you're not going to feel stranded. You're going to have people who support you. So I was able to do that by building the WIMA platform. I was no longer just by myself. Now I have other women leaders who I can connect, who I can have that safe space where we can share the same challenges. And I must say, these women leaders also upgrade me because I used to have excuses that, oh, I have children. I'm busy. I'm this, I'm that. But now, when I get to hear what these women are doing, they had proved me to another level. No longer, no, I don't have any excuses anymore because now I see women doing it. Even in my country, we have a female president. That's like, okay, now even women can become presidents. So that community is so important for women to have that kind of support.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Nike. And I just want to summarize the four main points that you said. You said number one, conduct a self SWOT analysis. Understand what your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats are. Number one. Number two, find your voice. Number three, define your expertise and use your story to communicate a message that is natural and authentic to you and your audience. Go deep and document your journey. Let me be honest here, I have struggled so much with that documenting my journey part. But in spirit of building this tea brand that I have to document my journey and I have to be public about it. And number four, experimentation and learning. I think Dr. Nike, I think that's probably the one that for me that's the most reassuring because it's a reminder that we're going to make mistakes. We're human beings. We don't know we don't know everything, and we shouldn't be expected to know everything. Even if in other facets of society we're expected to know everything. Children look to us and expect us because we are mom knows everything, and because we are wife of the home, we know everything. We know what's being cooked, we know how we know what's being cleaned, we know how we're going to talk to our mother-in-law, we know all the birthdays, we know all of those. So I can imagine how difficult it is, for us as women. Even I find it a struggle myself to, really just let go of that desire to be perfect and to know everything and to know, to have all of the answers. And Dr. Nike, I just want to go back to, you mentioned you're in the HR space. What has that journey been like for you in terms of navigating, just the different dynamics in corporate Tanzania?
That's quite interesting. I've been in that space for almost 10 years now. What I've seen in the HR space here in Tanzania or in the African continent, we still have a shortage for talent. Despite that, most of the talents are usually highly educated, but they lack the skills, the skills that are needed for jobs. And also, other dynamics that I have seen is there's still need for capacity building to empower talent, even female talent. There's still so much to learn, and I think as in Africa we need to empower our people because these young people, youth, are going to be the next future leaders. So it's important for people in the HR space like myself to take that initiative to empower young people to be workforce ready, but at the same time, even entrepreneur ready, because most of the jobs are scarce at this point.
Hmm. No, you're completely right there, and I think keeping in with that theme of navigating that, I think as women, I was in the corporate world for a number of years before I left and moved into my own business. And something that I found particularly challenging is striking the balance between being assertive whilst also being empathetic. How have you navigated that in your journey?
That's a hard one, as a female leader. It's hard to manage both, being either assertive and but I think it goes with you as a leader. What is it that you hold true? There are certain times that you have to be assertive, you have to show that authority voice. And I think sometimes as women, we might think, people might say, oh, she's too bossy, or she's too what, or she's too soft. But I think as a female leader, that authority voice and that experiences that you have to communicate that to your people.
Yeah, you're completely right about that, especially in the communicating that to your people. And right now you are our people. So, Dr. Nike, I would love to hear about a time. when you have been in a situation that if you handle it in an assertive way, it can go left. But if you handle it in a too empathetic way, it can also go left. And I'd love to hear about a time in your career where you've, really had to exercise wisdom and discernment in knowing what to do and how to approach the situation. I definitely need it, especially for managing people on the farm and in all the other areas of the business.
Mm, mm. You know what? I'm trying to come up with an example of where I have been in that situation, but I think being a leader, a time when I had to be assertive, I would say, okay, I can give you a recent example. Um, I had an event, a women leadership event in the past few weeks ago. And I think I've seen many people when you have events, sometimes they want to come and, promote their products without any some sort of contribution. So I said to my team very assertively and very firmly that this is not something that we hold on to. In order for anyone, whether it's a company or organization that want to promote their products, they have to pay or contribute a special package. You cannot just do it for freely. So although I communicated that verbally to my team, I didn't think they understood it. But I think after I put it in writing, they're like, okay, now Nike, we get it. So sometimes it's that communication style. I had to be assertive and say, this is the way it's supposed to be, and this is it. This is it. You have to be firm. And I think as women leaders, sometimes when people see women, they think we're too soft, or maybe we don't we don't show that assertiveness that is needed. But also, it comes with confidence whenever you are communicating or using that voice authority. That needs to be communicated very well in such a way that it shows that you are firm on your decision or on the statement that you have made.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, Dr. Nike, I completely agree with you. And it really is a very, very fine line in terms of being assertive, but also knowing what situation is for where and who to talk to, and the best way to communicate with those people. I find, I mean, I'm sure you might relate to this, being in East Africa when you're dealing with government institutions and, they see a woman walk into offices and they're wondering, where is the man behind this? Is that something you deal with a lot or you've dealt with in the past?
Dealing with what? Sorry.
Dealing with government speakers, or rather government, or asking where is the man behind you, not expecting that it's a woman who's going to be in the room.
Yeah, actually, I have. Most of the time when there is a female leader, most of the times they assume they will ask. I've seen it, especially we're coming from patriarchal environment where men are supposed to lead, are supposed to do things. So I've experienced that. But also, I usually communicate to people who are involved that even us as women, we're just as powerful as men, and we can do so many things that just as them as they are capable of.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Nike. I am so blessed by hearing everything that you've had to say this this evening, or this afternoon, rather. The next speaker is going to be Dr. Shalva, or rather Shalva Sitemba, who is going to be talking to us about the laws of leadership. Shalva Sitemba is a co-founder and CEO of Peculiar Consortium, and she's a globally recognized leader in organization